So Ellie says, when you can't or don't eat, but you're hungry, how long would it be before your body thinks it's a famine and slows down the metabolism? Thanks again. Um, it would take a while, if you've been, just eating consistently, um, your body's gonna, yeah, and you miss a meal. I mean, that's pretty common for animals to miss a meal in the wild. And so, um, so that we're well used to that. It's going to be the prolonged, day after day after day after day of getting less than your body requires. That your body's going to say like, oh, okay, we need to shut this down. If you look at like the Minnesota starvation studies by our good friend, the evil, the sort of the mad scientist Ansel Keys. They starved the hell out of these people to see what it'd be like if everyone had to be on rationing or concentration camps and things like that. And they lost a lot of weight at first, but then it plateaued, and then they didn't really lose much weight at all, even though we're basically eating nothing. Very 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 small amounts of food. So it does take some time, but then it goes down, it slows down, it stays down, and then when you start eating again, you will put on fat because your body's saying we need to store this, we need to survive, because maybe we got a cache of food now, but it doesn't mean we're out of the famine. We're not necessarily getting consistent meals. We're not necessarily going to get consistent meals, and so it needs to protect you so that you can survive. I don't promote fasting in people. I have seen people that use a carnivore diet, and if they want to sort of help accelerate fat loss, or when they're getting ready for like a competition or something like that, they may fast 1 day a week. Otherwise, they're doing like sort of intermittent 1 meal a day. And but I've actually seen a lot of people that say that if they stretch that out to 2 days or do 2 days a week separated by a few days, that actually can slow down weight loss, and you start seeing that metabolism start coming down. They start getting eating less, or actually losing less too, and they might actually start going back the other way. So just be mindful of that. If you skip a meal out of necessity, you're just traveling and there's nothing good to eat. I mean, it's better to not eat than eat something bad for you, I think, unless you're actually starving, but none of us are. And so, skipping a meal or skipping a day of meals, your body can handle that. It's not going to cause too much of a problem. And then you'll sort of get back into the routine, and your body will be fine. Even if you fast for a few days for whatever reason, someone's treating cancer or other sort of medical issue and they want to do a medical fast, then, great. Do that. But your body will sort of recover, and you might put on a bit of fat and sort of stabilize and all that sort of stuff. When you have a cancer and you're fasting, you need refeeds. Like, you don't want to lose too much weight. You want to maintain healthy weight. So, it takes a bit of time, but if you just skip a meal or a day or two, you shouldn't do that, and your body will recover and metabolism will go back up, within a few days or a week anyway. So it should be fine. It's just those prolonged periods of chronically under eating that's the problem. This is a chat from Ellie Melly. Thank you very much for saying hi. Says, I'm here, just got on. Yes, my period pain went away. So it's in reference to the last one of those last questions. Their period pain went away. I also have the copper coil for contraception, and it's meant to make period pain very bad, but don't get it all anymore. Yeah, so that's actually a good point, is that those sorts of IUDs are typically make things much more painful and more uncomfortable. So it's if that's getting rid of that sort of increased pain, then that's a really good sign as well. I'm going to see, there's actually quite a lot of questions. So it's from Lena. Thank you for the super chat. Best fat to protein percentage for fat loss and better sleep is that 80-20. Well, it depends. Again, like going back to what I said before, it's getting enough. So enough fat, enough protein, and that's going to stimulate your body to say, hey, we're not in a famine. We'll just let this go. So I think that you just want to, for a lot of people, that's 80-20, but it's not about the ratio. It's about just getting enough. So, it's, just be mindful of that it could be different for you, but a lot of people, 80-20 is good, or 70-30 is also good. You're aiming in between that and just make sure you're getting enough fat for your body, and you're just eating until fatty meat stops tasting good. And whatever that shakes out to be is fine for you. Okay. So it's from Daniel Salinas. Thank you for the super chat. Benefits of carnivore on narcolepsy. So that's a good question. There are a couple people that have said they've actually recovered from narcolepsy, which is pretty wild. I've had a couple of them on my podcast. I'm pretty sure Rebecca Heichman had narcolepsy, and that's actually recovered. So you can check out that interview. I'm pretty sure that she did. And I've seen a couple other people too, which is pretty wild. Because my cousin had narcolepsy, and so it's not fun. It's not a fun condition to have. And so I think he was able to treat that with medication that just basically forces you to sleep. And so because a lot of it's sort of insomnia, your brain can't tell. You don't sort of get tired. It's almost like a superpower. You just don't get tired and you just don't feel it. So you just keep going until your body just goes, no, we're not doing this anymore. And your brain just shuts off and you just pass out. So it's sort of in extreme insomnia. And so what taking these medications do is just forces you to go to sleep. And then you at least you can at least regulate that. So you're not just going to go to like, nope, too far and knock out. Right. So at least some people have improved that anyway. And so hopefully that is the case for you as well. I was just going to say, everyone, there's actually a lot of super chats poured in as I was going through sort of last week's. But I do have some appointments this afternoon. So maybe we'll just go ahead and stop the super chats now anyway, and try to get through as many of these as we can as well, so we don't have this spillover effect for next time as well. Stags, thanks for the super chat. How do I know my protein to fat ratio, if I'm fat adapted, and why don't I get symptoms of meat not tasting good no matter how much I eat? I only get full. I want to lean up. Do I reduce fat and eat lean? No, I don't think you need to reduce fat. I think that's actually detrimental. You want to get the majority of your energy from fat, because when you start running on protein, it's not good. So what the thing is that if you're only eating meat and only drinking water, then eventually it would stop tasting good. If you're sort of getting to the point where you sort of feel full, but you're still happy to eat it, if you're not eating anything else, there's nothing else complicating it. You're not on any medications that could increase your hunger and things like that. Sometimes you get full, and sometimes you get full because you're eating more lean. Sometimes you're eating more fat. Actually can increase the amount of energy and nutrients that you're getting in, and your body gets much more satiated much more quickly on a higher fat version of that. And then maybe you just need to eat more than once. Maybe your body wants you to eat more than once a day, and that's fine too. So I get that, where I just sort of eat until my body's just like, yep, no, that's as much as we've got room for, and but it's not enough for me for what I'm doing. And so my body wants me to eat another time too. So I end up eating more than once a day when that happens. So I think you just listen to your body. And if you need to eat more than once a day, eat more than once a day. If anything, I would increase the fat, not reduce it. Because if you're reducing the fat, if you're eating more lean, it's not, it's going to sort of change that. It actually not taste good, but you're still hungry and your body's still telling you to eat and all that sort of stuff. You're sort of getting it sort of the other way around, but you're saying that why don't I get symptoms of meat not tasting good no matter how much I eat? I just get full. it could just be that your body wants more nutrients, and so you want to sort of eat more. And but if your body's getting physically full, could be that it's that you're not getting all the meat that you want, because you're not getting the right proportions of things. You can also add in things that are more nutrient dense, like a bit of liver, kidney, and heart, and that has a lot of nutrients, because your body's chasing nutrients, it's not chasing calories. So we get more nutrient dense stuff. Typically, that's more satiating as well. So you can try all those little things, but I would still eat what your body's asking you to eat. Gunther SB, thank you for the super chat. I've never done a ketogenic diet. I eat 80 to 90 grams of carbs per day. Can I start the Lion diet with 2-to-1 fat to protein ratio and grams cold turkey? Yeah, you absolutely can. A lot of people do. Probably easiest to do that, because you just sort of strike while the iron's hot and you just sort of get into it. If there are some people that like to transition. That's just more of a personal preference sort of thing. And you could do that. 80 to 90 grams isn't all that much. So, dropping the rest of that probably would be fine. I don't see any problem with that. There are a lot of people that eat a lot more carbs than that a day and go cold turkey. So you should be fine. But if you feel better, reducing it more slowly, go ahead and do that. A lot of people do it just cold turkey though, and they do just fine with it. So good luck with that. I'm glad you're going to give it a try. Coley D, thank you for the super chat. I've been carnivore for about 4 months now. Lately, I've been having intermittent kidney pain. A caffeine tablet once daily. Could this be causing it? You never know, possibly. You can always just try cutting it out, drinking more water. It's hard to tell if it's kidney pain. It can just be pain sort of in that area, sort of under your ribs. It could be muscular pain. It could be sort of, gastral chondritis sort of pain, pain in your ribs, pain in the cartilage or the joints with your ribs, those sorts of things. Hard to say if it's actually your kidneys. If it is, you can try cutting out the caffeine. You can try increasing water and see how you go. Some people do get, when they're clearing oxalates, they can sort of build up kidney stones as your body sort of dumping this stuff out. Again, more water, try to get that stuff cleared so it's not building up and pooling and forming a stone. And so just more water, less caffeine, see how you go. Mr. Anthrope, thank you for the super chat. Mother has Schatzky's ring, solid food, painful, and eating next to nothing for weeks. Doctor expanded esophagus today, hoping for relief. Thoughts on including meat at this stage? Meat smoothies, okay. You can definitely do more pureed meats and pate sort of things, or pate textured things. That's totally fine. Eventually, you want to be able to chew and swallow. It's good for your teeth and your face and all that sort of stuff. But no, if she's got a medical issue that makes it difficult to swallow, then yes, having meat smoothies is perfectly fine. That you can if you can do that. You can, doesn't sound too appealing, but hopefully you make it in a way that tastes good and gets her to get the proper nutrients. But yeah, it's still a good idea to eat proper food. So someone said, I was so interested to hear of your father's success on the carnivore diet with the diagnosis of Parkinson's, but I haven't heard any more information from anyone else about it. Is he still doing well? He is still doing well. He was under eating for a number of years, and I keep trying to sort of tell him, like, you have to eat more. So he lost sort of more weight than he wanted to. So now we're working on eating meat, and I told him, you need to eat meat every day like it's your job. You have to eat enough meat. You have to eat enough fat. For his whole life, it was very controlled. It was just like, no, I'm going to stop here. I'm going to stop here. No, that's enough. I can stop here. That's not what we're doing here. You need to get enough. Your body's telling you to get more. You get more. Before, when we were eating a bunch of crap, you had to stop yourself or else you would eat too much. Now that's not the case. If you are stopping yourself prematurely, you're not getting enough. And so I impressed that upon him. Because of that, and because he sort of lost a lot of weight, and he's got a lot of back pain that sort of hurt his mobility. Obviously, you have a bit less mobility with Parkinson's, and so that superimposed onto things has made things a bit more difficult. But he's working with PT and doing some other things to try and help regain his strength, and obviously eating a lot more meat to help him put on some healthy lean body mass is really, really important for that. As far as the Parkinson's is concerned, he really hasn't progressed much, with all these other things going on. He's he's not as spry as he was, but he's not as advanced as you would expect at all. I mean, he really hasn't advanced much in his Parkinson's, to especially to the degree that he's off medications, he's off levodopa, he's not doing those sorts of things. And he's just really not progressing very much. And it's been 7 years at this point. And he had early signs of this before that. And, but he's been carnivore for 6 years now, with a couple of cheats here and there, but they've gotten more good about that recently as well. So that's been great. And so hopefully that'll help him more too. But yeah, no, he's doing really well. And, normally you'd see this go a lot faster than that. And then medication stopped working, levodopa stops working. You get surgeries and implants into your brain, which is pretty wild surgery. We've done several of those, a couple dozens. I've helped out with a few dozen of those, and they're pretty wild surgeries. And so it's not something that you necessarily want to go down, but it does help, and that can really. If someone has a really bad tremor or other sorts of issues where they're just really stiff and rigid, or bad tremor, that can help, right? And especially for tremor, I mean, some of these people have these really wild tremors; they can't do anything. And so my dad is not there. He's a bit of a tremor sometimes, just a little bit, and otherwise really good. So yeah, doing very well. Could be doing better, but we're working on those sorts of things as well. Thank you for asking. Hey everyone, really happy to announce a new sponsor for the show and for everybody down in Australia, Stockman Stakes, who are delivering high quality grass-fed and finished pasture-raised beef and other meats, flash frozen and vacuum sealed to your door, something that I've been enjoying a lot of myself recently as well. They also have a great range of specialty items such as high-fat keto mince and carnivore beef and organs mince with liver, kidneys, and beef heart as well. So use code Chaffee today for a free order of beef mince or another specialty gift along with your order at stockmanstakes.com.au, and I'll see you over there. Thanks, guys. WR, thank you for the super chat. 4 months carnivore and coffee. God damn it. My heart is racing, lightheaded, lungs, muscles, doing very simple housework. Tried electro, decreased coffee, feel like passing out. Well, I would try electro. I'm not sure what that is, electrocardiogram, like an ECG, maybe. Probably a good idea if you sort of get a racing heartbeat and all that sort of stuff, just doing simple things. There could be an underlying medical condition. It would not be from carnivore. Coffee, caffeine can do that. You're decreasing coffee, or have you tried eliminating coffee? Probably a good idea to do that. Heart racing, lightheaded, and those sorts of things. You can check other things. You check your blood pressure. If your blood pressure is low, you can get those things. People on medications for blood pressure and things like that, sometimes that medication becomes too high, and so they need to reduce that. They don't realize that. They don't realize they're getting low blood pressure. Being lightheaded and having your heart race, that can be a sign of low blood pressure. You could be anemic. There could be some sort of other reason why this is going on, and your body needs to pump out more, have a higher cardiac output in order to move the same amount of oxygen around your body and perfuse your tissues. So check things like your blood pressure, your blood sugar, and get your bloods checked, and check for anemia, check for other sorts of things going on, because that's not typical. That eating meat is not going to do that. So you want to make sure that there's not something else going on. And easy Really easy to just cut out the coffee too, but that's still pretty atypical for people who drink coffee and do carnivore as well. So I check those other things. I drink more water. I check your blood pressure, check your blood sugar, and check your bloods for things like anemia. Talk to your doctor and see if doing a further, more detailed history and exam elicits some other sorts of concerns they might be able to test for. It's not from eating meat, and it's certainly not from not eating poison-ass plants. So look for other reasons. It could very well be that you're on too much medication now and that you need to work with your doctor to decrease that. But do talk to your doctor. Don't just go around changing your medications without talking to your doctor first. Isaac Omundson, thank you for the super chat. How to start eating a carnivore diet focused mainly ground beef without getting food aversions almost immediately. Well, some people really enjoy that. It depends on how you cook it, depends on how much fat is in it. If you're getting much more higher fat content in the ground beef, like 50-50, 60-40 ground beef from your butcher, special made, tastes amazing. It tastes way better than even the 70-30 stuff. Certainly the 80, 85, 90, 93, 7 sort of nonsense. I mean, you're just cooking a brick. It's disgusting. This does not taste very good. And that sort of tells you your brain's just like, you need something else here. You need fat. So that lean meat's not that good. Also, you cook ground beef well done, doesn't taste all that appealing. So you're doing patties, it's like medium rare to rare, much better. Going to taste much better, can be much more interesting. And you can also, if you're okay with dairy, putting a bit of sour cream or yogurt or a slice of cheese on those patties, that can potentially make it a bit more interesting as well. But I think dairy should be used very sparingly and only as a condiment. And there are a lot of people that really just don't do well with it at all, especially people with autoimmune diseases. And if you're trying to lose weight, good idea to avoid dairy in general. It's a classic weight loss stall on carnivore is dairy. So just be mindful of that. Cook it, find a way to cook it that you enjoy. Get much fattier meat, melt butter into it. It tastes a lot better with that. Okay. Dr. Tragedia, thank you. Says, great job, Doc. We appreciate you. Oh, thank you very much. I appreciate that. It's always nice to see, other doctors that are coming to this and find this stuff and say like, yeah, look at that. This actually is it's something that's there. I get a lot of messages from doctors, telling me, that they've been doing this themselves. They use this with their patients, and they really find this really helpful, and that they enjoy the videos and different things that I put out, which is great. Because every now and then you get some asshole going like, oh, well, you're not a real doctor, or this, that, and the other, or you're just in this for money, whatever. It's just like, well, I'm sorry, but like other doctors and professors of medicine and nutrition and biology and botany and all these sorts of things, they're reaching out to me, telling me that they agree with the things that I'm saying, and that X, Y, and Z is totally accurate, and they really appreciate it. So sorry, you're wrong, and so it's always good to see that. I get far more of those than the negative ones, so that's always good to see. And because I don't want to be wrong, and it's nice to test this against other people and see what other people think. And if other people are in this field and have or have a medical background or a scientific background, and they're seeing this and going, yeah, that's dead true, and here's something that adds to it. That's always helpful to know that you're on the right track. So it's good. Like you do with people that have been eating a bunch of carbs and have this massively elevated insulin, and then that sort of changes up. But you don't necessarily need to salt. If he likes a bit of salt, probably not that big of a deal. But no, I don't think you necessarily need to salt the meat that you puree for him. And if he just enjoys it and likes it